Three things you should be practicing to level up really fast. I am going to be helping the Trash Bin Tennis community and doing a little match analysis of the Condor of California and the Shanks of Long. I'm going to help these guys out. That is the Trash Bin Tennis community. But these are three important skills, three situations you need to be owning on the court, and a few extras. Let's get to it. So I'm going to go through, plug in the most important categories into their game, and let's see how their games evolve. I'll start with both of you guys, and I'll go into each individual one. Both of you guys need to work on y'all's high middle forehand. Okay, so unfortunately there's some strange stuff on the internet and tennis YouTube that tells you guys to let the ball drop, get it maximum, maybe shoulder level. You want that thing eye level. So y'all got to be hunting those high forehands. Longshanks, I think you've had all these forehand changes to your game because I think you were maybe at a spinnier grip or whatever, a Western. Just understand that Nadal's at a Western, Djokovic is at a semi, and Federer was at an Eastern. They could all rip the ball. They could all rip it eye high. They all could manipulate the racket head speed. But all their forehands were very accurate from the center. So whatever grip you use, just be accurate from the center of the court and be able to rip into both corners. So let's go into that. And then also remember, when you're playing pushers, this is, I think, more for, Longshanks. You're trying to run specific sequences, so you manipulate them in a way so that you gain favorable court advantage. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit more of a process because you do need to add skill set to your game to go through pushers. And that's why I have 4 books that I have, but one of them is how to dismantle all pusher types. So maybe I touch base, send you that. But pushers, once you know the sequences to bother each pusher type, because there's 3 types, the moonballer, the slicer, and the wall pusher. And the wall pusher is the most difficult because usually they can moonball and slice a little bit. So that you do need to add skills to your game. So that's when trying to help you guys improve at a fast rate. I think I saw the Condor from California. He is at around a 6 or so UTR. And I think Longshanks is in that 5 UTR range. Y'all can both get up pretty easy to that 7-5 range if y'all clean up what I'm about to go through with you guys. So let's get to the court. Let's get to the first part. And let's get to the middle. So what you want to remember once you're in the middle of the court, the main thing I want to address is when you're winning the point and you're inside the baseline, okay? So when you're behind the baseline, don't overcomplicate it. I'll actually get to that next for both of you guys because y'all have some similarities of things. Unfortunately, you've gotten probably on tennis YouTube and you've gotten some strange information. I will filter through that and help you win in an optimal way so that y'all start winning more matches and see what that does to y'all's game. The first thing is controlling the center. Obviously, anything in front of me over here, landing in the middle, that's what you want to be hyper aware of. What both you guys are going to do is, I'll show going this way, y'all are both going to work on bouncing the ball, and you see where it peaks for me right there. You're going to work on bouncing the ball and getting comfortable making shoulder to eye level contact on the ball. Tennis is an element when you're watching the game on TV, there's an element of smash ball. Anything that is left high and in the middle is going to get smashed. So your brain has to start to process the game in terms of smash ball versus cross courts. Cross courts is fairly useless other than for the timing you would gain by ball repetition. So still, you can hit your cross courts, but I would definitely do it a specific way, not just hitting cross and with kind of brain dead hitting. So y'all's drill here is y'all are going to start stationary, a few steps inside the baseline. You're going to bounce it down, and you're going to work on tattooing that ball inside out and just being balanced in doing that. So you'll have your balanced strokes. If you make it near the corner, past the service line, so maybe into the the if we divide this half of the court in half, so the side 25% and past the service line, you score a point. If you miss it, you lose a point. Try to get to 10. At 9, if you miss, you go back down to 0. And maybe, oh yeah, both you guys, y'all's legs need to get some training in. So if you miss on 9, let's get about, I would say, 30 of these on each leg, and just deep lunges. And deep meaning you're going all the way forwards and pushing out. And so if y'all haven't seen knees over toe guy, that is good for tennis. Also incorporating some of the resistance band lateral movement that I've shown is all you really need for tennis movement. So you start moving really fast. That's another side thing to get y'all faster on the court. Controlling the center for both of you guys is fairly unimpressive, and y'all need to get better at that. But y'all are good at making fun of yourselves. I won't do it, but if you do, I won't stop you. So controlling the center, do both corners, and then once y'all got that, y'all need to be able to do it so that you would start just a little bit behind the baseline, and then what you're going to do is move up in front of the court and be able to do that on the move off of a nice toss. So you have plenty of time. Once you get good at that, then now you bounce it, get around it, and you'll have less time. You will have less time to set yourself up, but it trains you to be quick at that movement, which is, if you watch Federer, that was one of the skills he was very good at and set him apart. Now it's Alcaraz. So that would be the first thing, all right? The second thing, when y'all are behind the baseline, y'all need to be thinking, instead of trying to hit through the court like this, or even this, I want y'all to think getting that ball to shoot up, and then you're trying to hit that back fence in one bounce. So it's a quality ball, but you're gonna do it by maximizing the trajectory. And what that does is it forces your opponent to have to play on the rise, or they're gonna be pinned on the back fence. And then once y'all get good at that, then for the pushers, y'all shoot that parabola ball. The parabola ball, literally, you can see I'm going up and over. It's gonna go comically high. Any normal player would and should take a swing volley on that, but pushers don't have that, so you just exploit that, and then that gets them completely off balance. So that'll throw off any pusher type, even if it's a little blocker. It's a hard ball to take on the rise and block. So that from behind the baseline for both you guys, very important. All right, now we'll go to the California Condor and what I saw from your match. So here I'm gonna do a little match analysis to help this California Condor deal with these guys. His commentary is entertaining, but I will not leave it on. So we got the California Condor over here, and we got his opponent. And this is from, I'm just looking through the stuff that's as recent as I can find. So I'm gonna pause whenever there's anything egregious. And so he's getting pushed in that deep corner there. California, you need to be very, very good from that corner. So I hope you're spending a lot of practice time in that corner. Your shot did land a little short and low, but let's continue. And that sets you up when you leave balls short and low, you leave the line open. So a few errors there, California, or should I just call you the Condor or Double C? I'm not sure. You let me know. I'll be mixing it up for you whenever you're competing. Let me see if I can get back to, let's see if I can go back. All right, let's go. Boom, leaves it. So from here, very important to be able to play with force and depth and height. You did none of them, but that's, I think, why you call yourself the Cali Condor. Actually, Condors, they fly high. You need to get that ball up high, man. So you left it short, but then let's see. As you see, your opponent is getting a nice step in. Let's see if I can get that. And you definitely want to, I wonder if this is going to send, yeah, it's going to send us back a few too many frames. Your recovery spot, when you see the guy stepping in, you're kind of hanging out here. And let me see, whenever you get pushed out whenever you are, you give them, he's got a good step in there. So instead of you standing here, so I'm just going to draw it between your feet, you should actually be almost all the way, and you're going to see where I put this here. So your right foot will be here, left foot would be here. And what that would allow you to do is, you can see when you get to this ball, let's see if I can, when you get to this ball, you are going on a diagonal back and you have to stretch slice. But if you're here, you would actually be able to get a hard, good run and maybe even be able to turn on it. So you just got to be aware. That's a mental skill. The awareness of seeing you just left it a little bit kind of puny and short. And then you go from there. You move into this position better, which is you're kind of, where you were standing is if you hit a really good effective shot, then you could move up to about here. But since you didn't, that's where I would be. As far as if you watch the pros, that's where they're going to stand when they leave a ball. Now, the only disadvantage is if your opponents have like a sharp, good angle. When you're here, you are leaving that, but that is the typically harder to execute. And if they don't hit it perfect, you can actually turn the tide of the point. So that is something for you to think about. And then obviously you lost that point. That's just the first point. And then I think this guy you're playing, he has a really good kick. And you can see I do have some kick serve stuff. Man, your ankle, you're all right there. I do have some stuff for dealing with kicks out wide, but you can basically, your two choices when you're dealing with someone with a really good kick serve is you cut it off and chip it down because you got a one-y, or you do the Wawrinka and you're back here and you're trying to blow that ball up as deep as you possibly can, unless they're serving and volleying. And then you got to get it at their feet. Okay. And what we want to address, you're having all sorts of issues returning. So California Condor, you're having all sorts of issues returning the kick serve. You're having all sorts of issues returning the kick serve from this side. So just understand when you're playing and you're dealing with a decent kick serve, you can see where I'm standing. So you got to train yourself to work from this area and scoot a little bit further back. And then you're going to take those two steps and you need to be comfortable hitting from here, even on your outside leg. So what you're going to do is start off stationary, toss that ball up, and work on getting a nice rip on the ball. So you're tossing it, taking it at air. Same thing to your +10 pressure ball at 9. Then you're going to have to be able to do it and kind of bounce it out over there and then do that exact same thing. I'm doing it for a one-y just to show I'm not a one-y, but the footwork's still the same. And just to show you, one-ys, you're just trying to always finish up and out, especially if you want some topspin. So this little drill right here where you just toss it, take it out of the air, and work on rolling your hand through the ball. That will get you really quick at being able to handle pace. Your last level would be just toss, two-step, take it out of the air. And there I did it with the Tui. And that's all you would need to do, so that now when you're playing those kick serves, you're ready to return it deep. You had a serve and volleyer. So if you know the guy's serving and volleying, now the window changes. You're no longer aiming deep middle. You're gonna have to work on same thing. Now you're gonna have to work on getting that dipper cross court. So you just work from there till you get it dippy, landing in the service box. So this is just a skill set. So for me, obviously I can do that easy with the Tui, but I'm gonna try to do one or two for you with the one-y. And that is what you can do to counter the kick serve. And that's your defensive return, so that you're able to put that ball dippy in the box. And that makes them have to volley up, and you just come running back into the court because they'll probably try to drop shot you off that ball.
All right, let's see what happens. And you can see just some critiques from a coach that is, you know, may know one or two things. When you're engaging behind the baseline, you want to create more net clearance, especially with your forehand here. And this is gonna be my critique here for you. Your ball off of your forehand kind of comes off like that, very linear. And what I want is, especially see you're way far behind the baseline, let's get that thing to shoot up very high with a lot of spin, but so it's exploding up off the court. And your C is just like low, and they get to step into it. So what you're doing from back here, I would change that immediately, and that'll make it more difficult for your opponent immediately to handle your ball. If it's out of his strike zone, that's all you're trying to do. You did get the air anyways, but you are making the game easier for your opponent. And then here's the kick serve out wide. And this is where you can kind of see he's coming in. And so it's hard to slice and deal with a serve volleyer from where you are. So you could be up here to take away that slice. And I will actually be flashing back and forth between the video commentary and show you how you would actually do that on the court. So for you, California Condor.
Now, the other thing you could do is move up into the court. And now you're trying to take the return early. And if you have any sort of chip, and you see Federer, he was very good at, from there, bringing that chip down and cross court. So you can see I'm bouncing it up, and you got to work on being able to bring that ball down and cross court. So those are, again, numerous things for your improvement there. That's for the California Condor. That kick serve return, long shanks, you probably work on it too. And that'll again raise up y'all's level, both the defensive variation of defending a kick and the offensive variation, timing it on the rise and chipping it. But you got to spend your time doing that. You got to bounce it, bring it down, and be able to manipulate that ball. Same thing, go to 10, pressure ball at 9. It's just an accountability. See how long it takes you. If that gets too easy, y'all let me know. I have levels to it, okay? So that takes care of the Condor and 2 major categories: controlling the middle, looping from behind the baseline, and then the kick serve return.
A few things immediately to raise your game is your engagement from behind the baseline. You need to lift your ball. I mean, I'm thinking, almost double the net clearance of what you're doing. So you would put 2 nets. So I sometimes will put a volleyball net for students to hit through, or just a little bit over. So you literally hit through the volleyball net. And obviously you can see you're giving him passing shot rules. When someone's at the net, get it low cross court so they don't have, this is what happens when you try to pass line and you don't hit it hard enough. The line of what your opponent can hit, the ball's going to bounce here. So that's going to be bounce 1. And then after that bounce, bounce 2 is going to be way off the court. And that is a difficult cover for you. But if you were to hit it low cross court, then the most they could do is bounce 1. And then maybe it bounces, and then bounce 2 over here. So you could see how much less distance to make your defense more solid. So you can see that runs through the court. And because you left it high, he has options for a power volley too. So, all right, you're down 1-0. I think this ends up being really close, but I think you got steamrolled this first set. And you can see your ball's just wheeling into his wheelhouse. You are playing mini tennis. And I want that Condor forehand to be jumping up high. And when you're practicing, see where my line is there? I don't know if you and the Shanks of Long, you two train together. I wouldn't even I would start the practice with just hitting everything near this line or past it. So everything here, so y'all get used to getting used to depth control. So I would do 20 to 40 balls each. It depends on how much y'all practice, but that's what I would do. And then for you with your forehand, you can almost double that net clearance. So that thing is exploding up. You can see it's like a feed for him. Obviously your backhand's gonna be a little flatter. It looks like you have a flatter grip. So those are all little things. That's a pretty good serve. And then your other thing, I was watching through yours, and you definitely want to, I don't know if you've started to develop a kick serve, but that you can see how much problems Samoset's kicks is giving you. So you definitely want to deal with that. And you can see that kick, and then you gave a mini tennis down the line return, and that's going to stress your defense. I think you end up winning this point with hustle. Yeah, you do. So, all right. Good. And you can see another kick, and your acceptable error, if you're going to come over that ball, I want that ball deep, and you're allowed to miss long over here. That's just the probability of you actually missing the ball long over there. That's the hardest error to make. The net error is the easiest error to make. So let's take care of that. So you already got a lot of stuff. You got me talking a lot, which is good and bad. Good. You got some feedback to improve, and the bad that there's so much feedback to improve. All right.
Turn. First, the shanks of long. This is for you. You're really struggling with these short balls. So I think you got somebody telling you to respect the short ball. I'm gonna tell you a little bit different. I'm gonna tell you to F the short ball. And I mean, just flick it, okay? Flick the short ball. Or you can think rip it. So either one. Just understand, once you get low over here, you need to be thinking, flick that ball. Flick the ball, and I'll kind of show from a few different vantage points. Understand.
So there's a let's go. That is fairly important. All right. So you had a good serve. You got that short forehand here, and he runs to basically the center of the court. He is shutting down most of the angle, though. When you remember short ball rules, just in general, you want to be aware when you get a short ball that is on the deuce side, your two main targets are going to be there. So this, if we put X marks the spot there, and then we would actually, if you can get it to pass anywhere where the lines are here, you get your angle to be sharp. Those are your short ball rules, but since he stood way up, I would definitely go a line. So those are little things that as y'all are starting up, you can see you hit it right to him. He's got a nice opening there. You did hit it hard enough, and you are athletic enough where you did get a touch on it.
Understand, once you are in short game, short ball territory, your aggression should be very high. And same thing for you. I need it going down the line with some pace. And that's where, again, you're getting some faulty information from Tennis YouTube telling you that the low ball is impossible to handle if you have a semi-Western grip. Nadal would rip the crap out of Federer's slices. That can't be any lower. It can't be any lower and any more, what's the word? Difficult of a ball, and Nadal would still flick it. So what are we doing? Again, that's just everyone's going to give you a reason that you can miss, and I'm just going to provide counter examples of people that have done it, and you just copy them, and then you can do it yourself. So the way you'd work on is just dump it kind of short, low in front of the service line, and then you're just working on flicking it, and you don't need to. If you get really accurate with that, you got to get to +10, pressure ball at 9. As you get better, I do expect 7 in a row. All right, that should address that, so that your first option on short balls is good topspin down the line. And if you have the time, I don't know how much you guys practice, then the other thing you're going to want to work on the short ball is change your grip and hit that little chip angle. They cannot cover both the deep line and the chip angle. You could go topspin angle, but I like to program players with 2 complementary skills. Long shanks, if you can get good at that, you will no longer have issues with short balls. There's either high short balls and low short balls. What we did in the middle of the court at the beginning, getting you to be able to rip high ones, that should take, I'm only addressing the low short ball. If you get a high one, you just tattoo it, but you need to work from that specific zone. All right, those are the things I saw, guys. Trash bin tennis community. Hopefully that helps you guys out and helps structure y'all's practice a little bit, because if you don't have your practice structured, it is very, very difficult to make serious improvements. You're probably just hitting cross courts, and cross courts has very low utility in the actual game of tennis. Being able to attack second serves is way more valuable than being able to hit the ball cross court. Okay, so there's a hierarchy of skills and things that you need to get good at first before some of these other things become a real factor. I'm not saying cross courts doesn't help. I did not say that, because I get some people in the comments sometimes taking what I say and getting confused with it. So that is not what I'm saying. But structure your practice, and if you have any questions on how to structure your practice, click down below. You can book a free call. I will help you structure out what you're doing in practice and optimize your training effectiveness. All right, guys. Coach VC is done.